All right, I think we have a good show to watch. So far, so good. The only problem is, this show is triggering as hell. Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole giving you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. And this is my review on The Other Black Girl, Season 1, Episode 1. They Say I'm Different. All right, so how did I find out about this show? This show is based off of a book, and I have never heard of the book, didn't even know about the show. I woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning the other day, couldn't go back to sleep, turned on my TV, went to Hulu, and saw this show as the first advertisement. So I said, okay, let me play it and see what's going on. And I have enjoyed it so far. I actually like this show. The episodes are only 30 minutes, but I'm only going to review episode 1 so far, okay? So all of my crew, I want you guys, if you guys are interested in seeing a show that you may think is good or you may think is bad, definitely take a look at it. And then that way, when I review the other episodes, we can have some dialogue and chit chat and crack some jokes. So we start off seeing a Black woman in 1988 running out of an office, and we don't know what's wrong with her, okay? We don't know if she was attacked. We don't know if she's having some type of mental breakdown. She gets to the train station. She gets on the train, and she is scratching, and she is like kind of losing it. And then she starts to hallucinate, and she thinks that there's all of these white people just staring at her on the train. So we find out that her name is Kendra, and we find out that Kendra was the first and only Black senior editor at Wagner Books. And we find out based on her picture that she was only the senior editor for 1 year, which was 1988, the year that we see her losing her mind when she's running out of the office. So instantly I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And then we go to present day, where we see Nella, our lead character, who is a Black woman, and she is an assistant at Wagner Books. And she is the only Black woman there. Yeah, triggering as hell. I know there are some Black women, Black men, and other minorities out there who can relate to that, okay? So it's clear from the beginning that Nella feels out of place, but she is doing whatever she can to stay on the good side and get ahead in the actual company. So the other assistant that sits next to Nella is leaving for law school, and she is the only other woman of color there. She's Asian. And she's like, bump this. I ain't trying to edit no books. I'd rather go to law school. So we already see in the first couple of minutes the type of environment that goes down when you're like the only one in the office. You already have seen the boss, who is pretty much the oblivious one, who lacks diversity and inclusion. She may think having a Black assistant is really about diversity and inclusion, but it's not. She just pretty much wants Nella to do what she is told. And then you also have the ones that treat Nella like she doesn't exist. And then you have the one that claims they are so woke and they understand your plight and they understand what you go through being a Black woman in this racial, sexist society. So we see all of this, and I feel her pain all the way because, again, I'm sure a lot of us can relate to it. So after we see the environment, we all of a sudden see that Nella appears to be having visions or hallucinating. And I can't figure out if it's the spirit of Kendra, the editor from 1988, or maybe someone else who was like a Black employee who worked there that we don't know about yet. I don't know, but we keep see like I think we see like a little small vision of Kendra. So this is interesting. So Nella gets back to the office after she has her break, and we see what appears to be Kendra. It looks like it's Kendra, but she's in a black hoodie, kind of like following or looking at Nella. Nella gets upstairs and she is introduced to the new assistant that's taking the other girl's spot. And she meets Hazel. And Hazel is a black girl, okay? She is a sister. Now, Nellie's face when she sees Hazel gives like a sigh of relief and like, thank God my prayers have been answered. It's not just me anymore. I got a sister in the office with me. Hazel, on the other hand, looks like she's slightly annoyed and was sizing Nella up. Like sizing her up. Because it can't be two of them. You know what I mean? It can't be two. No, it always gotta be one that gotta be shady and try to get ahead of the other one. So she looking like, oh, the other assistant is black like me. But I was like, okay, maybe I'm tripping because I have been in this environment plenty times before, and I'm just like, but to me, she looked like she was sizing her up. But I said, you know what, Chris? Keep watching. Don't assume shit. Just keep watching. But that's what I thought. So as soon as Nella meets Hazel, it's like instantly they pretty much hit it off. And Hazel lays it on thick from the beginning. And that automatically made me have a side eye. Because here's the thing. Some people truly are welcoming like that. And they just truly have a pure heart. And it's about, just being welcoming and being there and being supportive and being a helping hand. Fine. However, at the same time, you also have people who do that so your guards can come down. Okay? I know y'all know what I mean. I know somebody out there that's listening to me knows what I mean. So at that point, we find out that Hazel went to a HBCU. And of course, going to an HBCU means there's no way you can be anti other black women, right? Shit. Please. So, Hazel and Nella just start talking about everything from, yeah, girl, and homecoming this and homecoming that. And, pretty much, Nella is excited. And she tells her friend and her man about the new assistant. Oh, she just black. She black. She black. She blackity black, black, black. I'm blackity black, 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 black. She a sister. She a sister. She's so cool. I gotta love her. She a sister. And so at that point, her friend is like, oh my gosh, I manifest this. I knew this was gonna happen. And her actual boo thing, which is a white guy, he's like, that's great, great. Maybe we can invite her. Yeah, like maybe you can be friends. So Nella's boss the next day, Vera, tells her that, Nella potentially could be up for a promotion as assistant editor because she's been doing a great job. So, of course, Nella is super happy about this. However, Vera wants to know what Nella thought about Colin Franklin's book. And Colin Franklin is like the big guy at that publishing company. He is the big author. He's like what was the big lady that was back in the 80s who used to write all those books? Was it Danielle Steele? Danielle Steele, I think that was her name. She's like that for this show, this character. And so Vera's like, well, what did you think about his book? And so Nella's like, what did I think? So we find out that Colin has this book about the opioid epidemic, and he has only one black character. Sounds typical. But this one black character, her name is Chartricia. Yeah. And so she says, look, Chartricia is problematic. He made Chartricia every stereotype: baby daddy, drug addict. And, Nella's like, this is a problem coming from a white author, and that is your only black character. And she's like, I don't know about this. Vera acts like the wind is taken out of her. And she's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, have you told anyone else about this? And Nella's like, no, 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 I wouldn't tell Colin this. And she's like, good, good. She was like, keep this to yourself. Kiss Colin's fat ass. Tell him you love the book, nothing more. And Nella's like, what? Because of course, if you trust her to give her a promotion, that means you have to trust her expertise in what she thinks, right? Wrong. So Nella's confused, and Vera's like, Colin keeps the lights on at Wagner, but give him the sweet before you give him the bitter. And part of excelling is being diplomatic. You mean lying and smiling in someone's face through the racist bullshit, through the stereotypes. Got it. Vera tells Nella, to keep this conversation between her and Nellie. Just those two need to know about it only. So Nella is in the bathroom, and Hazel walks in, and Nella says, I'm so glad you're here. And because of that, and Hazel's like, yeah, girl, love it or whatever. They decide to go downstairs and I guess have lunch and talk. And because Nella is so happy to have skin folk in her office, she does what every genuine spirit type of person, like that big hearted person, does. She puts her guards down and runs her mouth about people in the office. Yeah, that's what she does. So they find out that they have the same favorite book. Like they both love this book called Burning Heart, which was actually edited by Kendra, the 1988 editor, and her best friend Diana is the one who wrote the book. So they have their little, I guess, another bonding moment because of that. And so next thing you know, they go back upstairs and Colin is on the way. And of course, Nella's annoyed. She kind of huffs and puffs at her desk. And Hazel's like, what's going on, girl? Spill the tea. Why you so upset? And Nella starts to overshare. And so Nella pretty much tells Hazel about the character, Shartrisha. And Nella doesn't know if she wants to be honest or hold her tongue because this is a big book for the actual company. And Hazel says, sister, if Colin's book rubs you the wrong way, speak your mind. Go with your heart. You're probably not the only one who feels that way. And so Nella says, I don't know. The company's really excited. And then there's this promotion. Oversharing, Nella. Oversharing. Oversharing a girl that you have literally only met that day. But again, because she's skin folk, you think everything is good. But this is just my thought process. But there hasn't been a lot of conflict yet. So the conflict has to come in every show. But I'll continue. So after that, she's like, I don't know. I'm gonna think about it. So they have a celebration for Colin's book. And after the celebration, Nella walks into the room where she sees that Hazel, Vera, and Colin are talking. And Hazel pretty much, I guess, told Vera that she read Colin's book during lunch. Now, mind you, I think they actually were having lunch together. So I was like, how the hell did she read that book that fast? Because she didn't read the damn book. But let me continue. So at that point, Vera's like, well, Hazel read the book, and Nella's shocked, and she was like, you did this afternoon? She's like, yes, yes. I definitely wanted to be prepared. And so Vera and Colin's like, Colin's like, well, what do you think about the book? And she's like, Hazel's like, oh, I thought it was a good read, but Nella has her opinion on the book. And let's see what she thinks about it. Shady boots. Who the hell told you to put her on the spot like that? When she was ready to do it, she would do it. But you shady as hell. See, I knew what I felt from the beginning when she was sizing her up. I knew she was shady. So Nella's caught off guard. She doesn't know what to say. But at that point, because she felt Hazel was gonna have her back, she's honest. Now she's not honest in a cruel way, but she's just like, yeah, it's kind of problematic. Colin, of course, hasn't heard anything ever bad. He got yes people around him. So of course he takes this as a dig. And he's like, look, it's not for everyone. And then he said, okay, you feel like she's dangerous, whatever. Hazel, what do you think? What do you think about the book? And Hazel's like, I thought it read really well. And, I would like to read it again because, that character has potential. Just shady as shit. So at that point, Nella, just within that one meeting, went from being the it girl for promotion to pretty much being the who the hell is this damn girl? Just instantly. At that point, the actual head of Wagner Books, Richard, who is Richard Wagner, he goes up to Hazel and it's like, we would love for you to do editing letter for Colin. So now Hazel within one day becomes the it girl, and Nella, who's been working there, becomes the shit girl. So at that point, Nella is like, she's a mix of emotions because, of course, this girl that she thought was so cool threw her under the bus, and she's leaving the office. And of course, she looks defeated. And then she finds a letter in her pocket while she's walking out that says, leave Wagner now. That's what it says. So at that point, she doesn't know who is coming from, who put that letter in her pocket. Could it be Colin, racist ass? Could it be Hazel, fake ass? Who could it be? Could it be Kendra, possibly the ghost with the most ass, who put it in there? We don't know at this point. So when she is walking out, she actually sees a vision of Kendra in the actual elevator. And again, I think it's Kendra spirit that's haunting her. Why? We don't know yet. But what I will say is, so far so good with this show. I really like it because it's super relatable, especially like I said, for Black women, Black men, minorities who have always felt like they were the only one. And then also that one that you trust a little too much and you may overshare too much information with, and you think that person automatically is going to be your friend or have your back, but they really trying to get information so they can put you and throw you under the bus. I think we done at least been there one time in our lives, because again, she automatically assumed because that was skin folk, oh, why would she do anything like that? But as we know, all skin folk ain't kin folk. So with that being said, that was the end of the first episode. Loved it so far. Let me know what you guys thought about the first episode. Please don't put any spoilers in the comments. I really would love for us to actually go through this together while I do the reviews. I'll do another review this week as well. If you read the book, also let me know what you thought about the book. But with that being said, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on my next video. Toodles!